He was traded for a convicted Russian drug trafficker serving a long prison sentence in America. In a statement, President Joe Biden said, "We needed income to fund its war effort, but the gas cuts do not immediately put the two countries in any dire trouble, as deliveries were expected to end later this year anyway. Still, the cutoff worries the European Union, which counts on Russia for much of its energy. In the meantime, however, both Poland and Bulgaria say they're resolute."
The suspension of Gazprom's gas is a gross violation of their contract and blackmail by using a non-contractual plan to pay in rubles through third parties, which does not guarantee neither the supplies nor the Bulgarians' money. We will not succumb to such racket.
Not only will we not bow to this blackmail, but I want to assure my countrymen that this action by Putin and the Kremlin will not affect households or the situation of Poland.
Donald Trump was aggressively addressing the concerns his administration had with illegal immigration.
We will not allow our generosity to be abused by those who would break our laws, defy our rules, violate our borders, break into our country illegally. We won't allow it.
Trump's policy migrant protection protocols or remain in Mexico was put in place in early 2019. Masses of immigrants waited in what were reported as unsanitary tent camps for their immigration hearings. Though it's credited for slowing the immigration crisis of 2019, since it went into place, there have been reports of sexual assault, kidnapping, and torture while the immigrants were waiting for their hearings. Shortly after being inaugurated, President Joe Biden worked to halt the program, but lower courts have reinstated it. The administration remained vocal today that despite what critics say, it wants to talk immigration.
Comprehensive immigration reform that would put in place smarter security, that would ensure there was an asylum processing system that worked, and that is something he would be eager to work with anyone on to get done.
Here at the Mexico border, where it's common to see it.
As the southern border tackles a surge in illegal crossings, Republicans and Democrats argue now is not the time to end the Trump-era public health order that's allowed officials to quickly turn away migrants during the pandemic.
The reality is that we need to have a plan in place for when we lift it, regardless of what one thinks of the policy.
The Department of Homeland Security is touting a plan. In a new memo, Mayorkas outlined 6 steps, including surging resources to the border, speeding up Customs and Border Protection's ability to process migrants, and working with other Central American countries to deter illegal immigration.
We have requested funding to hire 300 new Border Patrol agents, the first increase since 2011.
But many aren't sold.
The border's been overrun. It's as simple as that.
Mayorkas admits there's little the Biden administration can do to stem the flow of migrants. He says it's up to Congress to come up with a solution to fix the fundamentally broken immigration system. In Washington, Malda Rivera.
And we spoke to one young man here on the Texas-Mexico border who said he wanted it to be known that he doesn't mind if immigrants from Honduras or Guatemala are forced to remain in Mexico.
Because they have no duty in here, so why should they cross without, the legal requirements to come here? Since they have no duty or work or not even something to do here, I don't believe they have a reason to come here.
I'm Frank McCaffrey reporting.
Destined for hand-picked folks.
Hartwell Republican Alan Powell tried to fix what he saw as serious problems in the secretive bid process. He wanted to add all the companies protesting the bid awards to the list of winning bidders.
It's not perfect, but it's the best solution we have right now.
And Glenville Republican Representative Bill Werkheiser introduced a bill that would throw out all the bids and start all over. Both bills ultimately died. The winning bidders, with their secretive scoring evaluations and their heavily redacted applications, were still in business.
For the public not to know who these teams are and how they're going to be producing this medicine is simply preposterous.
Charlie Arnold claims the problem is the public and patients don't really know who the winning bidders are. His lawsuit claims the Medical Cannabis Commission is legally wrong in keeping thousands of pages of the winning bids, as well as the Cannabis Commission evaluations, a secret. Why? The lawsuit argues since a notice of intent to award license has been released under current state law, all the key documents in the bid process should now be available to anyone in the public, including patience.
The parents are the ones that have more interest in knowing.
Furnishing obscene material to minors and obscene internet contact with a child. Those crimes allegedly happened in 2020, but Kircher failed to make an appearance in court, and a warrant was issued for his arrest a short time later. He's now being held at the Gwinnett County Jail with no bond. A grand 2 years on the job. This after a barrage of criticism from board members, parents, and even the state school superintendent about a number of issues, including dilapidated conditions at Druid Hills High School. But this morning, Cheryl Watson-Harris says she had no idea this was even coming. The story has a lot of parents concerned about the future of one of the state's largest school districts and the impact on the students. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes is live now in DeKalb County with more. Deidre, what can you tell us?
A portion, we are joining you live this afternoon from DeKalb Peachtree Airport. You hear the music behind me, the hangar here at DeKalb Peachtree Airport. Right behind me is where some of the county's leaders are gathered right now. That is because DeKalb CEO Michael Thurmond is set to hold his State of the County address, that getting underway in just a short while. I did talk to him about what happened, this sudden termination, and we also received written statements from the superintendent regarding this. She said, in fact, that she was blindsided by yesterday's action by the school board. She said she was unaware that her contract or employment would be discussed during yesterday's meeting, as she was not notified and it was not identified on the school board meeting notice. She said that board chair Vicki B. Turner and vice chair Dijon DaCosta prepared the executive session agenda to address student appeals, saying there was no mention of a discussion of her employment. She went on to say that she has not received any formal notification from Chair Turner or Vice Chair DaCosta. In a written statement, the board chair did say, in announcing Superintendent Watson-Harris had been terminated, that the board has the utmost confidence in Dr. Vasant Hensley serving as the interim superintendent. Now, the immediate departure of Mrs. Watson-Harris, she went on to say, will have no bearing on the search for the next superintendent, saying that the board remains fully committed to an open and transparent process and supporting the students of the DeKalb.
Year-old is from Stone Mountain. The chase happened in the busy Saturday afternoon hours on the day before Easter. Adams traveling at more than 100 miles an hour northbound on State Road 74. Police said they would later find a large quantity of drugs in his car, marijuana, ecstasy, crack, and cocaine, as well as a firearm. Back to the chase, the video appears to show Adams driving around police stop sticks designed to puncture the tires. That's when officers decided to take action to end the pursuit.
A Saturday afternoon, day before Easter, some of the busiest roadways we have at that time of day, and I'll tell you, this was some of the most dangerous driving I've seen in my career by an offender. Wrong side of the roadway and such, just absolutely no regard for the safety of anybody out on the roadways.
At speeds between 80 and 100 miles an hour, Adams is driving on the wrong side of the road. Watch the move by police when his car crosses the grass median. Adams is facing more than 50 traffic violations, also felony drug charges.
From her and snatched her phone. Another woman who witnessed the incident started recording what was happening, and that's when one of the young people demanded she stop recording and pointed a gun. The group left the scene, and thankfully no one was hurt. A Philadelphia man is in custody in connection with a deadly police chase through North Georgia. Troopers tried to pull over two drivers for speeding, but instead of both drivers, they ended up taking him on a multi-county chase. Authorities found Qayyim Yahya Ali at a crash site in Helen. They charged him with multiple charges, including DUI, speeding, and aggressive driving. Investigators say the second suspect died from his injuries in a separate crash.
Vice President Kamala Harris has tested positive for COVID-19. Her office says she's showing no symptoms and plans to isolate. The Vice President will return to the White House after a negative test. The White House says she was not in close contact with President Biden or the First Lady.
You're familiar with them, these little small scooters. Well, you do have to pay with a payment card to use one of these. Chief Rodney Bryant says some young people have figured out how to hack into these scooters to ride and roam for criminal activity. Tying up police tape Investigators with notebooks get set to do the basics on a weekend night of violence close by the downtown College Hall of Fame building where high schoolers, including this couple, were in the middle of prom activities.
You could hear it was a pop. The sound sounded like a pop.
Driver Derek Conley was waiting in the party bus for the 16 prom attendees who rented his bus for the trip from Noonan to downtown.
I was sitting in the driver's seat when the bullet hit the side of the bus right over my head.
What might have happened if you had been loaded already, getting ready to head back, but hadn't pulled out yet?
Morris, I tell you, hysteria, panic. The kids, I'm pretty, they were flustered when they heard about it inside of the building.
At Atlanta City Hall Monday, a councilwoman knew about the Centennial Olympic Park gunplay and asked the chief about it.
Underage young people are running around on scooters.
It is becoming a serious problem for us. Over the weekend, scooters were in a number of our police reports where it was the mode of transportation for the perpetrator of an incident.
And at that scene, you see several scooters scattered around. It began with some sort of argument. A total of 5 people were shot. All will survive their injuries.
Juveniles were on scooters. Have y'all gotten any information on who paid for those scooters? I can't imagine a 15-year-old would have a credit card.
We've gotten information that they are hacking into the systems. Now, how they're doing that, we don't know.
There is an effort down